Sam is very good at his job. He's quite serious. He's quite straight and not got a fantastic sense of humour. He's a bit of a dick, actually. I can't say that, can I?
Casting of Sam was one of the most difficult things we've ever done, I think, in terms of casting our shows, because Sam is in every single scene. So you need an actor who is able to sustain that, who has both the temperament, the intelligence and all those things, and, you know, can engage with an audience and make them believe in his journey. And I don't think there are very many actors who could do that. And why John Simm, for me, was so perfect was that he is in so many ways every man, actually, John Simm, but he does it with such particular charm and truth that you just want to be his friend, you want to spend time with him, and I wanted to see him laugh, I wanted to see him cry, and I think that range that John as an actor has between being able to do the comedy, that comic timing, and take himself not too seriously, and at the same time give us that really dark stuff where, you know, Sam is a man lost on his own in the middle of a coma, or is he mad, or is he back in time? And, you know, to give us that truth, I think, is a very difficult thing to do.
John Simm, he's a nice guy, but unfortunately, he's a United fan. What more can I say?
John Simm as Sam, I mean, when I wrote one of the later drafts, when we were at Channel 4, developing this thing with Channel 4, I wrote with John Simm in mind. And I knew, I wrote him in mind, but also knew we wouldn't get him. I thought, well, he won't do a show, he won't do a series like this. And
he's just on State of Play then?
He's on State of Play, and as you know, we know John is a very, you know, he's a right ponce, is John, and he does the really high-end stuff. And I just didn't think he'd come and slum it down with us in series telly. And but I wrote with him in mind because I couldn't think of anyone better to play. I knew John would give us that contained. Sam is a contained character. He's got something jammed up there good, and he's contained, but he's also sympathetic. And there's plenty of character actors who could give you the contained, jammed up sort of character, but they couldn't give you the sympathy and the intelligence and the wit, and they couldn't make all those things play at the same time. John can do that. John's the most instinctive actor I think I've ever seen working. He's just instinctive. And when I heard he was considering it, I was just, well, you know, at least it's great that he's considering it. And then he said yes, and
he's a very precise actor too.
Incredibly precise.
So after the read-through, I have to confess, on the train back home, I said to Matt, I'm not absolutely sure about John because he's so quiet and precise, and even sometimes during the rushes, I think, oh, not quite. And then when I saw it cut together, he blew me away because he was thinking so precisely about the scenes, and he has a fantastic gift for comedy. It's very quiet and sort of set back against the rhythm of the scene sometimes. And until it's all cut together, you can't see it, which is very rare quality.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how often he actually knows he's doing that. I think he just feels his way in and just does it, and it's just great. And you can see so much going on behind his eyes. There's a great scene in a later episode, and he has to go from surprise to fear to humour to I'm going to do something about this, all in about 2 or 3 seconds, and he does it all with his eyes. And I mean, it's just there. You can see all the thought processes going on in his head. You can imagine what he's thinking, and that's great acting.
John, I think he's, although obviously as a person he's, you know, handsome and talented and all these attributes, he's an everyman. People can relate to him, and people have sort of followed his career through the 90s, from Lakes and Human Traffic, and here we are now. And I think people are going to be sort of keen to see how he's matured in his style, and and it is. I think it's quite a. I mean, I don't know all of John's career at all, but this is quite sort of a square role from whatever else I know about his acting career. You know, Sam's quite a straight guy, and he likes his rules and he's finicky, and so it's interesting watching him doing something like that. Before I started working with him, I hadn't seen anything that he'd done, and then once we started, I watched Human Traffic and loved it, and loved John's performance in it. But it's completely different from his performance in this.
Without doing all the backslapping stuff, he's a top pro in his job. He's not that kind of pro, but no, he's a nice fella, and he's always line perfect, really, isn't he?
Yeah.
And really good. Excellent. Been in great stuff. I've never liked him.
It was kind of a weird thing that I had, because the storyline is so ridiculous that at first I just thought this is never going to work, and that is what actually became attractive to me after a while, because I thought if I can make this believable, then that is a real challenge, because it's even when you describe the storyline and what it's about to people, it sounds insane, and that's what attracted me to it. I just thought, we can pull this off, then it'll be quite weird. It'll be a mad show. Sam and Jean are like chalk and cheese. I mean, literally from two different time zones. The relationship develops. They become really good friends within the constraints of Sam thinking that this is all a dream anyway, and none of it's real. He actually learns a lot from Jean. He learns, like, he takes a lot of his humanity and instinct, and he's very shocked at the way he works. He's very shocked at the way everybody works in the 70s.
I'll do your deal. I'll listen to your little tape machine now and again, okay? As long as you, just sometimes, listen to this, okay?
But he learns a lot from Jean, and I think Jean learns a lot from him. And I think as the series develops, they kind of morph into each other. It's a weird relationship. At the beginning, they just can't stand each other, and then by the end of it, they're good friends. Even though Sam or Jean, I don't think would admit it.
Hey, Romeo.
I worked with Phil on Clocking Off, the first ever episode of Clocking Off, and State of Play. He's the policeman in State of Play. Yeah, it was later on they told me he was doing it, and I tried everything I could to get him fired, and for them to change their mind, but they wouldn't listen to me, so they've only got themselves to blame. Annie's Sam's shoulder to cry on, and she's the one that listens to him and doesn't think he's going mad. And he's got a very modern attitude towards women, and she's kind of taken aback by that, because nobody treats her like him. Is Sam in 1973, or is he in a coma? Both. I don't know.